nutrient density is the idea that, like, the measurement is something is more nutrient dense if per calorie it meets more of your nutritional needs from a micronutrient
Mm-hmm.
level. So, so the idea behind that, people who are trying to say eat more nutrient dense foods, they're saying prefer something that for the same calories gives you more micronutrients, and there's a certain sense in which that makes. But if you were just going to take that to the extreme in the same way as the protein sparing modified fast, you the hands down the best way to get the highest nutrient density diet, only eat vitamins
Mm-hmm.
and eat no calories whatsoever. And obviously that's not sustainable either in the same way. So
Mm-hmm.
even if you generously threw in protein as a macronutrient, your highest nutrient density food is going to your diet is going to end up being energyless, and therefore a very poor diet by my standards.
So yeah, that's a good segue into nutrient density, right? Like, why might nutrient density not be such an applicable term? We see, I mean, I've used this a lot myself, talking about the most nutrient dense foods being animal foods, right? But of course, we're talking about certain nutrients, right? You could make the argument that, well, carrots are the most nutrient dense food because they come with loads of vitamin A, beta carotene. So I guess we can cherry pick and we can make that word kind of mean a lot of different things. But yeah, what's your gripe with nutrient density? Why might we want to think twice about using that word so flippantly?
Well, the bottom line comes to what's under the bottom line, and that's energy. The whole metric is dividing out energy as if it's penalizing it. So a carrot is going to be, like you said, it's going to be measured as more nutrient dense than liver, because liver has some calories in it. And I don't know, maybe carrot is not the best example, but like, say,
Yeah.
spinach. Spinach is almost infinitely more nutrient dense than liver because it has almost no
Mm-hmm.
calories. Does that mean you should never eat liver, or say a piece of steak, which also has a lot of nutrients in it, or an egg, for example? An egg yolk has so much
Yeah.
nutrition in it, so much vital nutrition. You can't really get it any other way than animal source foods to get that combination of, like, choline and the fatty acids and all those things that you need. But it comes along with energy, and this is being treated as if it's a bad thing. Where the truth is, we need the
Yeah, these are
energy,
high
so there's no
calorie
reason
foods.
to
It gets said like it's a naughty
penalize
thing.
it.
High calorie foods. I mean, why is that a bad thing? It's a funny thing. And yeah, you're right. Spinach, when you think about it on paper, spinach per pound, it must be so nutrient dense. But I mean, so much of that is fiber, so much of that indigestible material, and then also the anti
Right.
nutrient content as well, the oxalate content, stuff like that could probably interfere with some other nutrients being absorbed. So I think if we're not taking these into account, then maybe we're not seeing the whole picture.
So if you tried to construct a diet to hit all the RDAs, and I have a whole other beef with that, which I've gone into before, and I've talked a lot about at the carnivore conference. But supposing you just took the RDAs as an assumption for the moment, and you were trying to hit your RDAs based on
Yeah.
plant foods, and you were going to choose only the foods that had the highest nutrient density. That means you're penalizing anything that has any kind of energy in
Mm-hmm.
it, including protein. You're going to end up eating a whole bunch of stuff, and you're still not going to have met all your needs. And to me, that's highly problematic. And you mentioned about how there are different nutrients as well. So yeah, if you already have your daily amount of vitamin A, then some other food that has vitamin A is going to continue to be nutrient dense, and it's not going to help you at all at the point you're in, because now you need these other nutrients. And if you keep following this line of reasoning, basically you figure out that the ideal food is something that provides you all of the nutrients that you need in the correct amounts and ratios, and provides energy and protein at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that food happens to be meat, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we've got a balance of so many different elements that we've got to consider when we're looking at so-called nutrient density. And so, well, what nutrients and in what context? Interesting. So, what about food? You know, when people say, well, nutrient density in organs is really important. So a lot of people say that, you know, I mean, for one, I really enjoy eating foods like liver. I know you eat liver as well. We got like a whole shout out to Jessica for the book. So we could put a whole section on, you know, organs
Beautiful work.
and how to use offal and use the whole animal in the carnivore cookbook. Which, yeah, we got you a copy. Yeah. Oh, you got some bookmarks in there too. That's cool.
I
No,
do.
we're so happy to finally have it out. So if you guys are interested, there's a link in the description. You can check out the Carnivore Cookbook. It's all animal foods, zero carb recipes for people who really love animals. But yeah, we put a lot of work into making sure that I mean, we like to eat kind of nose to tail, right? Because it's what's available. It's a little bit more affordable for us. It's fun, and we really like we like the variety. Some people, they're doing great on just ribeyes, like not worrying about any of this
Hmm.
stuff at all. So I'm so remiss to tell people you must eat liver, you must eat organs. You know, I never tell people they got to. I think it's interesting to try. I think it's fun to include a little bit more variety in there. But when you look at something like liver, certain nutrients you're not going to find those in such abundance in other foods. You know, vitamin A in the retinol form, some of these B vitamins available in there. There's really high levels in liver. For that reason, I like to say liver is a very nutrient dense food. But might I be, you know, maybe making a mistake by saying liver would be more nutrient dense than something like muscle meat, right? Or like a nice ribeye.
Well, it's not technically false. And I think it gets at the right idea. I mean, I tend to be picky semantically, but the reason that I'm picky with people about semantics is because I see every day people taking the literal meaning of a rule that you've made and applying that without, using any extra brain power and coming up with ludicrous results. So to say that an animal-based diet with some liver added is more nutrient dense, I think that's a meaningful and fair thing to say. But to say, uh, you know, don't eat high fat or don't add lard to your meal because it's not nutrient dense, or choose liver instead of
Ah,
lard,
right.
then that's when you're getting into a
Yeah.
problem.